Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Happy Saturday. I realized I didn't really get a blog type video out. I guess my big, data mines reveal was on a Thursday morning. And to be honest, a lot of the stuff that was in that video is basically in the blog post that came out yesterday. But I found something kind of interesting. And so that's kind of why I want to do this video, but also kind of do a recap of what's on the blog for stuff that's important. I found that there's an additional way, if you have the power cores to do so, to double dip on the quantum surge event, or maybe even triple dip, depending on how you see this, to be able to get some additional milestones, which I didn't see. This was someone in Discord that kind of shared this with me, that there was additional ways to get more points for this event leaderboard if you're interested in doing so. Now, some people might be wondering, looking at this, how did I get so high? Because I had literally G20 on all of the characters that were required, including the extra Thunderbolt, not Thunderbolt, Fantastic Diamond Orb Fragments that were in the command center as well. So I literally picked up everything, and I blew about 20,000 power cores. I'm pretty low, but there's ways to get even more, unless they change it. We'll see. I don't know if this is a bug or not. We'll talk about this. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Okay, so if you go into the offers section, right? So if you go back, you can, the offers buttons are there for the event. And what's interesting is that some of these are buyable with power cores. Now, most of this is garbage, but there's one that I really want to point out. I'm kind of, I was kind of a bit like, should I mention this? Because I know that some people may do this and might drop my leaderboard position, but I'm gonna, let you guys know anyways, in case you want to do this. So for 3,000 power cores, you can get I know it's a lot. You can get yourself a Fantastic Four Diamond Orb, right? Like a full orb, and 1 point, which just doesn't really matter. But why am I mentioning this? You can buy this twice. You get points for power cores, right? So you get 4 to 1, I'm pretty sure, on the power core. So that's 12,000 points for the power core spent. But you also get 10,000 points from this orb. For every single orb that you get, or fragment, you get 5 points. So this is 22,000 points for spending 3,000 cores. Again, you're double dipping because of the power core usage, right? In this case, or single dipping, I guess. And then the double dip comes from the orb. Now, unfortunately, so this is a lot of extra points for 3,000 cores. Again, you're not getting character shards in this case because some people, I used my entire horde on Franklin Richards, right? And I don't regret that by any means. I'm in the top 1,000 and right now, and that is good for the amount of G20s that I'm going to get from the leaderboard, probably, if I maintain that position. The other thing that I want to mention, which I was a little bit surprised about, that Azazel is going to become available on Monday, which means that it will still be around the time that the leaderboard will still be running, right? So if you do want a power core for him as well, if you're big into Cosmic Crucible and you want to get Azazel on your Accursed team that I skipped, a lot of people know that I have skipped this team, so I'm still probably not going to build this team. So for that reason, and because I don't really care too much of a Cosmic Crucible, that I will not be power coring for Azazel. But what I am wondering, and I don't like to think about doing this, but this would really push you up on the leaderboard, especially if you're kind of performing well already. If you're kind of in that top 4,000, or you want to push into the top 4,000, this might do it because you're getting a significant amount of extra points for doing this event. This one is not such a great deal. It is double dipping, but I don't like it that much. So you're getting 800 power cores, and you're spending 800 power cores, and you're also getting 4,000 event points. Now, this would be worth about 1,000 additional power cores. So you are still double dipping, right? So 4,000 points is equivalent to 1,000 power cores. So in this sense, you are getting more value if all you care about is the leaderboard points. I feel like you're getting less value from this because it's just raw points versus this one over here. So for example, this one's worth 22,000 points, right? But this is worth only 7,200 points. So this might, in fact, from a ratio perspective, actually be worth it if all you care about is the milestone points. This one, not so much, right? This is bad. I'm pretty sure you do not get event points for quantum or fragments, so I would not go and do this. And also over here, it's pretty bad too because it's just 1 point. Again, some of these things I'm just not sure if they were meant to be available, or maybe they are, right? Maybe they were. They just showed up. I don't know when they showed up, frankly. But some of these, actually, now that I look at it, it does say that they're going to expire. So some of these, especially this one here. Wait, no, sorry, not that one. This one here has 1 day and 11 hours. So this is something that I just wanted to bring. I don't know if it's going to come back, but something that I wanted to raise to your guys' attention over the weekend. Now, why do we want to care about this leaderboard? It gives skill gear and diamonds for Quasar. Some people might not care that much about the diamonds for Quasar. I'm currently in the running for a 2 diamond Quasar for whatever it's worth, and you're also going to get some Fantastic Four diamond credits, but a lot of G20 skill gear if you need that still for Xavier. And that's something that I kind of want to take a look at as well, is because, what kind of skill characters would you be using in the Xavier saga in general, no matter where you are, right? And so I want to share with you guys the G20s that I have as someone who just recently picked up Xavier. And some might wonder, Boilon, why do you need so much G20s when you have Xavier? I don't know, honestly, because I thought that I was going to need this to finish off Xavier, so that's why I went all in on this one. But the characters that you probably would be picking up would be, of course, the Vigilantes for early on for City Heroes. So Silver Sable, Daredevil Modern, Hitmonkey, something like that. And then the Liberty characters, I don't know why I was stalling. I kind of forgot off the top of my head there. Cap Sam, possibly. Peggy Carter, for sure. I'm going to have more thoughts on this. I'm going to do a review of my choices for the Xavier Saga. I don't regret doing this at all. I did fumble a little bit because of my Songbird upgrade, which really screwed me up in Global Heroes and probably delayed me from getting Xavier quicker. And then, of course, Lalandra is required. I don't think that, especially if you're doing this within the next couple of weeks to a month, that you don't really need Thanos Endgame anymore, because I think that, it's an option, right? But I think that there's going to be way more cosmic villain characters that are going to be available soon, namely Azazel, right? He is a cosmic villain mutant character. And then Blastar, who is coming out soon, that you're going to have available probably within 2 weeks, who is a cosmic villain bio character. So those are additional characters that you wouldn't need to take Thanos for, and you could save the skill gear for, say, any of the vigilante characters, Lalandra and like Peggy Carter. So that would be like five skill characters right there, possibly Cap Sam if you decide to do that, because you probably want to have, like, there's 25 characters, right? So probably five to 6 characters per origin maximum. So that would make sense there. And why I am still, I guess when I do really well on this leaderboard, I am going to sit on the skill gear for the next OP character to come out. And at least I'm going to be able to G20 probably the next 3 skill characters. So that's nice there. As far as the other parts of the blog and what was mentioned and what wasn't mentioned, they did not make mention of the new raid, right? So if we talked about the previous video where I talked about the data mines and Orcus and all that, and the tech raid team, blah, 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 the Annihilation raid. This was not mentioned in the blog post. So that suggests to me that it's going to be next Friday's blog post, because it's probably like a week or 2 away at most, right? If it's in the data mines, that means it's 1 to 2 weeks off, at the latest. And so other things that were coming is the Franklin Richards to the Antimatter store, which is starting next week. So I will be using all of that stuff. Speaking of that, make sure that you're going into the milestones here, the Multiversal Force, to collect. It doesn't tell you, right? It doesn't give you the red dot until after you click on it, which is kind of annoying. So make sure you pick some of this stuff up. We're on bonus 12 already, so 72,000 antimatter is what I have. Now, we had some previous ones with 2 diamond Emma and Madeline. I do not know if there's going to be some sort of bonus in here that they're going to be throwing at us for a 3. I would just, if you're in no hurry, just wait and see what happens. Maybe we'll get a free 3 Emma, maybe we won't, or Madeline, maybe we won't. But it's no real big deal. I don't think anyone's really using them heavily right now anyways, but that's just my thoughts. So it's worth waiting to see what happens there. Now, Sebastian Shaw, I do want to talk about this. Yes, it is confirmed, or we knew that when he came in game that he's not going to be an epic character, but they're doing something a little bit different with the way that his release is. I want to kind of just scroll down to where that is. I'm not going to go over the entire blog post, but this is kind of like a Lalandra style release, I think, because it looks like we're going to be collecting the Hellfire Rings through like 3 different weeks of events, basically, to gain his red stars. But at the very end of this, which from the data mines, it said August 30th or something like this, that we would be able to buy a special offer, right? To buy him cheaper. And it was a heavily discounted offer. Now, In Scopely language, I don't really know what that means in terms of like, what are we talking about? A traditional 3-star unlock is, I think, 50 US dollars, right? So this would have to be basically 25 US or less, in my opinion, anyways, to be considered a heavily discounted offer. We'll end up seeing what happens, but also that means that Sebastian Shaw is, of course, going to be the last character to come out, and very well could be quite late. In fact, like we're talking end of August, early September, that kind of thing, for his traditional normal unlock, right? The normal offers. This is like a slightly fast tracked offer, I think, is what they're suggesting. I'm not sure. It's a new way to do things. We'll see. Like maybe I'd bite if it's like really cheap. Like it would have to be under $20 basically for me to consider this. He is the last character, so as far as the raid, and the raid would have to be out. Like the new Annihilation raids would basically have to be out. Otherwise, what's the point of getting the Hellfire Club unlocked early, in my opinion, other than using them in Cosmic Crucible? Like, what's the purpose of getting them unlocked early if the raid is not actually out? So I suspect that the raid will be out within the next week or two. That is just my opinions there. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the Knull finale thing. And apparently they're maybe I saw, yeah, they're doing something. They're like supercharging him, or I'm gonna do this, supercharging Knull, so that the traditional autoing of Knull that we've been doing with Battle World is going to be less of a thing. They're also maxing out the battle time at 8 minutes. And I think that we're still using just 3 teams, but it's going to be less of an auto fest, I guess. We'll see how that ends up rolling out. But this is going to be the quote unquote last time that Knull is going to, and for those of us who have been keeping up, would be able to get a 7 yellow Knull. Because Sentry is due to come out next month in September for Battle World 2, which again we'll wait and see what kind of details comes out regarding that, and whether or not that's. I hope it doesn't crash and burn. I hope they've learned their lesson from the release of Battle World 1, and that 2 is going to be a lot better. I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about today. Also, I do think this is a very good quality of life update, the raid sim update, that is no longer required to have the damn login streak. I cannot tell you how many times that people have told me that they have quit because they, I don't know, went away for a day or just couldn't log in for a day, and then they didn't have the login streak to do the raid sim, and they just could not do the manual time to do 30 minutes plus a day on their raids, over 2 raids. It's just absolutely insane. So I'm glad that they finally did that, but it took way too long to get this out. That's just my thoughts. The rest of it is, typical blog stuff. If you've been following the data mines, then you would know what the events that are coming out. We have the Broken King stuff, right? So I'm not going to go over this. This is all stuff that I did in the data mines on Thursday. So I'm curious what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Are you going to push the leaderboard any further? I just wanted to, do a public service announcement on this stuff, because if people do want to do that, they have the option to do so. Again, you are kind of spending power cores in this instance just for leaderboard points and maybe a diamond orb. You're not getting character shards. A lot of us double dipped on character orbs, or single dipped. I guess that's not a double dip. Or double dip for the shards, right? To do for 2 things. But yeah, you wouldn't be getting characters unless you're saving your cores for Azazel on Monday. But again, it's more of just kind of a double dip. But what I meant is that you're going to get a lot more points. If you really want to push the milestone points, you're going to get a lot more by doing this stuff than, say, just spending it on a character. But some people prioritize the characters more. Depends on how much you care about this leaderboard. Anyways, that's it for my video on Saturday. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.